Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Intan Maizura Arzimi from the University of Technology Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I am presenting a paper entitled Metamodel for Enterprise Architecture, a Systematic Literature Review. The content of this presentation will start with first the introduction, then the related work, third the reviewed methodology, fourth the result and discussion, number 5 conclusion, and finally the reference. Enterprise architecture defined as the relationships between project and the government change management. EA required to be implemented in the public service delivery for e-government entitled as a world-class. The agenda of establishing a world-class public service delivery system has continued through various national programs. Through the National Key Economic Area (NKEA) agenda, which prioritized technology in communication and accessibility enhancement to make Malaysian regional leader in the dissemination of creative content. Elements of EA were further amended in the Public Sector ICT Strategic Plan 2016 until 2020 as one of the enabling ecosystem in ICT strategies for the public sector. The initiative called as MyGovEA, the structured blueprint and guideline to implement EA in Malaysian public sector, primarily focused on technical aspects such as framework, data modeling, and technology architecture. Metamodel approach supporting the EA implementation. One of the challenges in implementing EA in our Malaysian public sector is creating a standard metamodel to enable communication in terms of completeness, update, and accuracy. Currently, there is no standard metamodel for managing EA data that can be used as a reference. Therefore, in this study aims to create a standard metamodel for EA data management to address these interconnectivity and communication issues. The study will contribute assisting government agencies, increasing the service integration and facilitate better decision making. The proposed metamodel for EA data management serves as a reference and standard in supporting the Malaysian government EA implementation. From the standpoint of academic, define the metamodel for EA data management was a design artifact that represents theory for designing information system in an EA body of knowledge. In this study, the scope selected was the higher education institution. Metamodel developed for higher education institution EA data management will assist the increasing use of data in decision making. Higher education institution requires EA metamodel data management to comprehend and adapt to the Malaysian educational system. Besides, in educational, still lacks in data management when compared to other industries. EA approach mostly focus on improving the alignment of the organizational business and information technologies. The complexity of developing business-oriented application is increasing all the time. This figure shows a modeling methodology diagram illustrated in Karagiani's publication in 2002 entitled Metamodeling Platform. As you can see here, it is divided into two components. The first component is modeling technique, divided into two, which is the modeling language and the modeling procedure. The component number 2 was the mechanism and algorithm. According to Brown and Winter publication in 2005 entitled A Comprehensive Enterprise Architecture Metamodel and its implementation using a metamodeling platform, the metamodeling originally focused on a specific business architecture, for example, such as financial services, telecommunication, and manufacturing. It is to facilitate the rapid market expansion. Finally, the Dang and Pecola in 2017 mentioned, this modeling method has been used rapidly in developing the metamodel specifically for industry growth for the past few years. Typically, metamodels were described as a model conveyed during the modeling process. The information provided is made up of entities that describe the model's element and allow each of them to be connected. Based on this, figure 2 shows the layered model stack for enterprise architecture, which is depicted from the Hinkelmann publication in 2016. The EA Metamodel was created with Metamodeling language located at the level 2. It is an indirect model of the EA model at the level 1, which is then this EA model was the model created for the EA at the level 0. The Metamodel was an abstract representation, the business process, data management, application, and service component technology and standard developed from the modeling language. The Metamodel for each layer will be developed from the need, following the need of the organization or business. As we show here, is the area of metamodeling topic covers in the study, which is the level 2, level 1 and level 0. According to Pemandu in the Economic Transformation Program ETP Handbook in 2012, MyGov EA framework was created based on the combination of the TOGAF, Federal Enterprise Architecture Framework FIAF, and a European Interoperability Reference Architecture ERA. It is a structured architectural information to develop the model of relationship and integration across various ministries and agencies that support consistency, completeness, and traceability. Education and training is a dedicated business services category with 8 business functions. Higher education is a tertiary education institution with business services capabilities to support the delivery of instruction beyond secondary school education to impart knowledge and develop skills, advise on entry requirements, manage tertiary education institution and facilities, also advise on standards and guidelines to support the academician in terms of scholarship and study grant. Therefore, enterprise architecture is required in higher education institutions to align data with IT across the 4 EA layers, which is business, data, application, and technology. This figure shows the business reference model on the social sector services. Higher education institution is classified as a business domain area for the social sector services. It is having a direct relationship between the government and the citizen. Now we move to the review methodology of this study. The systematic literature review in this study is to discover a summarized existing evidence on the criteria for developing a metamodel for EA data management. There are 3 main phases involved, which is the study question formulation, the research locating, and finally the research selection and evaluation. The review process followed the guidelines same as Alambri and Abdullah publication in 2018, entitled Enterprise Architecture Adoption for Higher Education Institution, and Azalea publication in 2019 entitled Dynamic Metamodel Approach for Government Enterprise Architecture Model Management. The population intervention comparison outcome and context peacock criteria were used to frame the research question. The research question of this study is what criteria are used to generate the EA metamodels. As we can see here, the criteria and scope of the research question for the population is all organizations have established EA. For the intervention is the EA, metamodel, and data management. And the comparison is the metamodel framework. The outcomes is the criteria of the metamodel, and the context is review of any study of EA metamodel development. The searching process was conducted using online database that index enterprise architecture or information technology architecture studies. The data source used were the ACM Digital Library, IEEE Explore Digital Library, Springer Link, Science Direct, Taylor and Francis, and Easel online databases. Finally, the activities start with the search string on enterprise architecture, EA, data management, and metamodel. The search string were constructed using the Boolean AND and OR, operators to allow the synonyms and word class variants of each keyword. Search was limited to title, abstract, and metadata in the online database, with the assumption that these words provide a summary of the work. SLR targeted a peer-reviewed article published between March 15, 2019 and September 31, 2019. This search only includes articles written in English that answer the research question. A total of 1,386 studies were initially discovered using the search string. After the thorough screening, only 65 titles and abstracts were found to be potentially relevant. Finally, after the assessment of relevant articles and eliminating duplicates, 13 studies were selected for the synthesis of evidence. Enterprise Architecture Metamodel for Higher Education Institution provides a comprehensive view of a business and technological landscape. It is a conceptual tool that aids the HEIs in comprehending their structure and benefits the integration of IT systems with educational process in terms of increased HEI agility, improved decision-making, and reduce the IT-related risk. This table shows the reference model on tertiary education related to higher education institution. We discovered the data object and application interrelationship convergence towards the HEI metamodel development are driven by both the business and data reference model. Finally, we created a universal metamodel for higher education institution data management as a guideline for leveraging the detailed and specific metamodels that will be created with the Metamodel language in the future. The metamodel located at level 2, the Student Information Metamodel, covers the student structure from admission to graduation. The Course Information Metamodel covers the lecturers and registered course as well as teaching and course evaluation. The Research Information Metamodel described the data management on research done by the student and academician, was the indirect model of data management model at the level 1. Finally, all the EA model will be the indirect model of enterprise architecture, which is located at the level 0. The list of criteria for designing metamodel from SLR are based on the research question. The result were presenting the synthesis of evidence from SLR to investigate EA metamodel criteria to develop an EA metamodel for higher education institution. These tables are the summarize that the criteria used for designing the metamodel. The difficulties in comprehending higher education institution from the standpoint of policymaking, teaching and learning frequently discussed in a previous study. The emergence of the metamodel approach has provided a much more stable foundation to build the improvements in high standard data management. This enterprise architecture metamodel data management will aid in the improvement of metamodel standard criteria such as high metamodel standards, which can benefit the entire business and society for higher education institution. We come to the end of the presentation. This is the reference used in this study. Basically, there are 22 references were used in this study. That's all for the presentation. Thank you.